talk to me about your daily Webtoons, which it's not quite daily, but it's often. Um,
Mm-hmm.
your Webtoon comic that is like typically 4 panels and like
Mm-hmm.
slice of life, and it seems like you're the character. Is that
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm the main character. It's based on like my daily life as far as things that I do just on a regular day, and then also like I try to do days where I'm like working on stuff, but because it's called Freelance and Afraid, and so I started it once I started doing freelancing, and so yeah, it is based on me.
It seems like the character of you in the Webtoon. I get why it's called Freelance and Afraid. She expresses a lot of anxious moments.
Yeah.
What
Um, it's true because when I first started, I guess I kind of just jumped into it. I didn't really plan it. I had some money saved, and I was kind of tired of my call center jobs, and so I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna go and try it out and see if I like it. And so yeah, I was pretty nervous because I had no idea what I was doing. So, but as I went, I did figure things out, and now I have some set goals, and I think I feel a little more confident in it. I took a break from the daily comic strips that I've been doing, but I do want to get back into it again sooner or later.
what was sort of the idea for doing that?
It was to get into like a habit of creating comics every day. Like at first it was just 2 comics every week or so. And so once I went into it like full time, I was like, okay, I need to get myself into a routine of doing the comics every single day. And so yeah, that was kind of what inspired it. I just wanted to get myself in a routine.
Did you ever find yourself sitting there going, I have to do one today and I have no idea what I'm doing this on?
Yes, a lot of the times. I had a little notebook, and on there I would sketch like I would try to have at least 3 or 4 comics in advance of doing the one I had to do that day. And so sometimes I would have enough material that it'd get me through the week. But yeah, sometimes I had to do just like on the spot. Okay, I have no idea today, so I just kind of had to like come up and see what I could do that day. I don't know. I did run out of material sometimes, so yeah.
What like programs or processes are you using for that uh, Webtoon?
I use Photoshop. So in all my comics, I just use Photoshop. I haven't really used any other programs, just because that one was the one I became familiar with first. And uh, it's really hard for me to get started to learn another program. And so with Photoshop, it's just been easy to make all the comics and stuff. So I've been using that forever. Mhm.
What was your favorite part about doing the Webtoon?
Um, my favorite part, it was, um, I think it was making the stories. So a little backstory of it. I had been dating someone that was encouraging me to do the daily comics. And so a lot of the times it was just the funny moments in life where I was just like, oh, this would make a great comic. And, so I think that was the most enjoyable. Like, you kind of in the now of like what's going on in life, and what you find to be just like adventures, or just funny parts in life that you're just like, oh, I think this would be interesting to make a comic about. Yeah.
What's the most difficult part about that?
um Probably being honest. I mean, it is like your life, and so I'm a very, what is it, I don't put myself out there very much. And so it was really stressful to be like, oh, is that, too much information, or is someone going to be offended by this? Or, like, I think that was the hardest part as far as like doing the comics, is how personal could I get? And I do really want to, like I said, I want to go back and I want to be a little more honest about my life too. and try to do that too. Let's see how it goes.
Do you feel like that risk was mostly like in your own feelings, or do you look back at it and be like, yeah, I can see in the comments where there's pushback or feedback, or I mean, how close to your expectation was it?
I think it was really just me overthinking it. And I did that a lot because it was my first time really being that personal with about my life. And so all the time I would just stop and be like, is this too much? And then in the end, it really wasn't. A lot of people resonated with it and related to it. And so it just made me step back and be like, okay, I'm overthinking this. And so, yeah, that's what I've loved about that's what I've taken away from doing the comics, the daily comics, is that a lot of people will relate to you as long as you're being honest with them.
What is it like for somebody who, I don't want to say doodles or sketches like they're not, like they don't care about their craft or something like that, but somebody who kind of does comics but has never put them on a digital platform? Like, what are your tips about Webtoons, or like, how do you get something ready for that service?
Honestly, as far as like submitting things online, there's a lot of platforms. There's like that I didn't even know about. There's I think there's like DeviantArt. There's Topaz.
Or a
It's
tapas,
another
or yeah,
Tapas. Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, that's another platform. And really, it's just finding a platform that you feel comfortable with. So if you're on DeviantArt and you're posting sketches here and there on there, then go with that platform. Like if you feel comfortable with the audience you have there, post more of your comics and see the feedback that you get on there. Like for me, also Facebook was a platform. If you're posting on there and you have a small audience and you kind of want to throw your comics out there, use that platform. Like there's definitely not any pressure to use one specific platform on the internet or anything. So yeah, I think just wherever you feel more comfortable with posting, go ahead and try posting comics there. It doesn't really matter as if they're like clean and digital. If they're just drawings and doodles and you want to put it out there, just go ahead and put it out there, I think. Mm-hmm.
That's that sounds very like encouraging. I like that because I think that for a lot of people this can be a really stressful thing to start putting their work out in a place where they don't have a lot of control about its reach, and they certainly are open about their audience. Like anybody can see it, and that's different than showing it to your friends or your family. So
Yeah. Yeah, and especially like using platforms like Facebook, it is your friends and family. So, it's not complete strangers. I know a lot of people can be really intimidated. And so if you want to use a platform where it's just your friends, I think that would be the best way to start doing it. Mhm.
any other tips about posting comics out into the world on a technical level?
Yeah, like when I started doing Webtoons, I had no idea how to do the format of Webtoons. It was a scrolling type of format, and I was just used to doing the two-page, just regular kind of comic format on it. So if you are going to be posting like on Tapas and Webtoons and things like that, learning how to format your comic, there's a bunch of videos on YouTube and things like that. I had to look it up and pretty much reformat my whole comic on that style. I really had never done it before, and I got a lot of feedback on it too, where some people were like, the pacing is a little fast here because the boxes are really small and really too close together. And so, I took that feedback, and for the next chapters, I changed my format and try to make it, flow better. Because so being aware of that and having like your work can be done and it's finished, it's colored, it's inked, but then you gotta take a step back and format it correctly for where you wanna show it and stuff.
Will you do a quick reminder of the places where people can find your work? Like, will you drop all your all your links?
Yeah. So I'm on Instagram. It's Alondra, ALONDRAW, and then underscore comics. So I'm on Instagram. I'm also on Webtoons and Tapis under the same username, and also Facebook, and that's the same username too.
Perfect.